Hi and welcome back to the channel. In this video, I want to help you avoid one of the biggest mistakes I see in personal statements and interview preparation. And that is using irrelevant and low value examples and therefore blending into the crowd. The truth is, not all experience belongs in your application. Just because something interests you or is very impressive in one particular context, it doesn't mean it will be appropriate here. Rather than putting in examples that they are proud of or they guess at being relevant because they demonstrate generalized study skills like teamwork, communication, or time management, the best applicants spend time selecting the most relevant and powerful evidence for the courses they're applying to. And they know exactly why they've chosen it. Without doing the right kind of research and being selective, your application won't have the impact it needs to have in this ever increasing competitive market. But when you choose the right experience and know exactly why it's relevant, then admission staff will sit up and take notice. After 15 years working in university admissions, 13 of those at an elite university, and coaching hundreds of applicants to make successful applications, I've seen what works and what admissions tutors really value. Now, if you're still at the point of building up your experiences and want some help on identifying the types of activities that admission staff love to see, then make sure you watch my video, What You Can Start Doing Now to Boost Your Application. You'll find it in the application playlist linked below in the description. But today, I'm going to help you understand how to choose between the experiences you have so that you select and use those that have the highest value and will be the most impactful when writing your personal statement or taking part in an interview. You'll learn a simple formula to assess your experiences with a clear set of criteria to help you decide what to include, what to leave out, and why it matters. Now, let's be honest, when you sit down to write about your experience, it's tempting to include everything. In fact, that is what a lot of advice in schools and online tells you to do. The UCAS website itself even encourages this, saying things such as, before you start writing, take some time to think about the key things you want admissions tutors to know about you and get them down on paper. But with all due respect, how do you know what they want to know about you? UCAS also says universities like to know the abilities you have that will help you on the course, or generally with life at university. But here's the problem. For elite universities and competitive courses, this approach is far too general. From an admissions point of view, your personal statement and your interview, if you have one, are key parts of the process of distinguishing who to make an offer to when all else on paper, such as predicted or achieved grades or preferred subjects, is equal, and there are more applicants than players. UCAS's role in this is to provide advice and guidance to anyone applying to a UK undergraduate course, as well as their teachers and advisors. So what happens is their advice becomes very generic. Last year, over 700,000 people applied to UK courses, and they have to cater for all of their perspective, plus those people who are advising them. But what gets lost by them doing this is the subtlety needed in applying to elite universities and highly competitive courses. And don't just take my word for it. Research carried out in April this year by the Higher Education Policy Institute found substantial misalignment between state school teachers and university admission staff on what makes high-quality UCAS personal statement. They said there are a number of pervasive myths and that teachers had a dual tendency to advise for the incorporation of personal content that aim to demonstrate a holistic view of the student rather than course-related competencies, which is what university admission staff are suggesting they do, that teachers suggest reducing content that demonstrated course-related knowledge and skills, again, opposite to what admission staff are requiring. The report concluded that discussing how activities demonstrate course-related knowledge and skills is likely to be more valuable than a discussion of generic skills. Now, it quite rightly points out that teachers aren't to blame for this misconception, and it's the universities that need to take the lead in getting the message across. And so, here we are. And this is a drum I've been banging for a very long time. Top universities aren't asking, is this applicant a good student, or are they going to get involved in wider university life? They're asking, does this applicant have the commitment and academic depth to thrive on my course? Have they the potential to go on to be a specialist in the field? Or will they succeed professionally and progress to a high level in their professions and therefore show the value of our degrees? Now, I go into this a lot more in my video, What are elite universities really looking for? So if you haven't already seen that, remember to grab my application playlist. You'll find the link below in the description. This is what gives your personal statement or interview that course laser focus that is required. Let me give you an example to illustrate this. Just the other day, I was in a school giving a talk on personal statements, and one young lady asked me, should I include the fact that I'm a netball captain and that I compete at the county level, which in the UK is a high level with the potential to go on into a national level? And I asked, okay, what does that show about you and why you are right for the course you're applying to? And she said, well, it shows I have leadership skills, that I'm dedicated, and I can balance my time and achieve well in both school and netball. And quite clearly, that is amazing. This is a truly dedicated and successful young lady. And I said, well, what course are you applying to? And she replied, chemistry. And I had to say, well, the short answer is probably no, don't include it. Now, that might seem a bit harsh, but we are talking applications to elite and highly competitive courses. Dedication to yourself and your learning isn't expected for any course at these universities, while leadership and teamwork skills have varying degrees of importance. And for chemistry, they come way down on a priority list when compared to course-specific skills such as experimental lab skills, the ability to test hypotheses, the ability to interpret results, sample preparation, or analytical skills as they are applied to interpreting patterns. Now, for chemistry admission staff and academics, whilst like me, they may find her achievement and dedication in netball highly impressive on a personal front, if her application is being weighed up against someone else's, whose personal statement is focused on all those course-specific skills, then it's going to be hers that seems weaker. So instead of thinking, what is the most impressive thing I've done? Or what do I want them to know about me in the way that the UCAS website encourages? Or even, what is it that admission staff want to know? You want to be asking, which of my experiences best demonstrate the specific knowledge, skills, qualities, and behaviours that the courses I'm applying to are looking for? And in order to do that, you need to have done some research to find out what those are. Now, to help you to do this and to select the most impactful experiences, I use a simple framework called the high value evidence formula. It's made up of 3 traits: research plus rigour plus reflection potential equals high value. Now, let's break that down. Number 1, research. This means your experience connects directly to the specific knowledge, skills, qualities, and behaviours that your chosen courses are looking for. You can't just guess this, you have to do the work. If you properly explored the course content, read the module breakdowns, and identify what the course values, then you'll know which experiences support those needs. Don't think to yourself, is this or that experience useful? There is absolutely no way you can know that for sure without having familiarized yourself with the course content. So in the example that I just gave, when I was asked, should I include my netball experience? There was no way that I could say yes or no without first knowing what course that the young lady was applying for, and then what course content was going to be involved in that course. Now, as it happens, I know what's needed for that course because I've worked at the University of Bath in their admissions department for 13 years. But for all of you making your applications, you need to go and do that research to find out what is involved in the course. And then you can figure out where in your life you've developed the knowledge and skills. And if you find gaps in your experience, don't panic. That's where you need to go to my video, what you can start doing now to boost your application, which is below in the playlist. But the point is, you have to do the research first to know 100% that any experience you use is relevant. So, okay, let's say you've done your research and now you have at least 5 different experiences, all demonstrating some of the skills or topics you've identified. So now you're asking, well, which of these are the best to use? Well, this is where you can consider the next trait, and that is rigour. This is about the intellectual or professional quality of the experience. Experiences are of higher value if they are academically and professionally respected. So ask yourself, was it delivered by an expert or an academic? Was the content advanced, challenging, or industry specific? Did it involve a sustained effort, not just showing up once, but producing something or contributing meaningfully? So an online course from a leading university, or a subject-specific competition, or a research project with a clear output, all of these suggest higher rigour than, say, a one-off lecture or a single article. Now, that doesn't mean to say the last 2 aren't valuable, but if you had space for only one of those things, you should include the experience that was more rigorous, as it will have more impact. So in short, the more depth, structure, time investment, challenge and requirement to produce something, the more rigorous it is considered. Therefore, the more value it carries. Now, the third trait you want to consider is the reflection potential. And this is a bit subtler. It's about what the experience gave you to think about and whether the experience gave you room to grow your knowledge, understanding, or skills. Did it raise new questions? Did it deepen your grasp of a particular theory or issue? Or did it connect ideas across different areas or disciplines? Did it help you see a topic from multiple perspectives or challenge a previous assumption? Has it changed the way you see the subject as a whole? So, if an experience helped you grow academically or intellectually, that's reflection potential. And that's what makes it more valuable. Now, this becomes really important when you're trying to stand out from the crowd in a personal statement or an interview, because it allows you to explain what you learned, think, feel, agree, or disagree about these experiences. And that is what the admission staff want to know about you. It allows you to personalize your application and really demonstrate your suitability in a way that sets you apart. So the more an activity relates to the course, is academically or professionally robust, and helps you grow in how you understand and think about the subject, the more high value and impactful it will be. None of these activities will work well in isolation. What matters is how you link them together. That's what I call a narrative of interest. This is a journey that shows how your thinking has developed over time across different perspectives and through multiple experiences. For example, if you listen to a podcast on climate economics, take a massive open online course, a MOOC, on sustainability, maybe you read 2 articles from Nature, and attend a lecture at a university or online. Maybe you complete a project such as an EPQ on the ethics of carbon pricing. Now, all of those link nicely together. So that's layered, that's relevant, and it's deeply persuasive. And it doesn't have to be complicated, but it does have to make sense. Admissions tutors want to see you followed a thread of interest and used your time intentionally. Now, to finish today's video, I'd like to briefly touch on what to avoid. So here are a few things I see all the time and why they weaken your application. Overloading with general skills such as teamwork, communication, or organisation. Yes, they're important, but at this level, general dedication, achievement, and academic skills and behaviours, well, quite frankly, they're expected. So unless your course specifically demands one of these, such as perhaps leadership in a management course, they won't differentiate you. So if you're going to use them, be 100% sure from your research that they are central to the study of your course and that they're not just general academic skills that will be useful on all courses. Choosing quantity over quality is another mistake. So listing lots of surface level experiences won't impress unless they're combined by a specific narrative of interest around the development of key course knowledge and skills. Now, if they're just separately listed experiences, or especially if they're just tied to generic academic skills, then they're going to have very low impact. One high rigor, high reflection example can be far more powerful than 3 unconnected, vague ones. Mistaking prestige for value is another. So a prestigious experience with no academic engagement won't help you. So this is the key. It's not about how big the experience looks. It's about how much it prepares you for the specific courses you're applying to and how deep the experience goes academically, professionally, and intellectually. So here's what I want you to take away. High value evidence isn't random. It's strategic. It connects clearly to what your course demands. That's the research. It's based on academically or professionally respected sources. That's the rigor. And it helps you develop your thinking. That's the reflection potential. Now, even if you've only got a limited time and resources, when you use this lens, you can make smart choices about how to build the kind of experience that will really matter. Now, if you want to turn your experience into a personal statement that actually gets offers, then I've got something for you. I'm launching a new course that walks you through my full, tried and tested 3-step personal statement mastery method. This is the system that I've developed and have been teaching in schools for the University of Bath for the last 13 years, and which has helped hundreds of students to make successful applications to elite universities. I'll guide you step by step through the research process so that you can do that to maximum effect, and then through identifying and selecting the best high-value evidence to support your statement. And then we'll shape it all into a powerful, compelling final draft in just one go. And if you're watching this early, you can pre-order and get a free 30-minute personal statement feedback call with me, just for the early access members. Just click the link in the description to find out more and pre-order. If you're starting to think about your personal statement, also check out my video, Why Personal Statements Don't Work and What to Do Instead. It explains why so many personal statements fail and how to use your high impact evidence to stand out from the crowd. I'll be adding that soon to my applications playlist, which you can access here.